The rain hammered the windshield like it had a personal grudge, turning the backroads of rural Illinois into a slick, unforgiving maze. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my knuckles white, as Elias's voice, my own damn conscience, whispered that turning back wasn't an option, not after the call that shattered my fragile peace. But when the old farmhouse loomed out of the storm, its porch light flickering like a hesitant heartbeat, I knew the truth waiting inside would either break me or remake me in ways I couldn't yet fathom. I slammed the car door against the wind, the downpour soaking through my jacket in seconds. My boots squelched on the gravel path leading to the wraparound porch of the Harper family home, a sprawling Victorian relic that had seen better days, peeling white paint, sagging shutters, but still standing defiant against the prairie gales. It was the kind of place that screamed Midwestern stubbornness, the sort of house where secrets fermented in the attic and ghosts lingered in the root cellar. I'd driven 4 hours from Chicago for this, for Jake Harper, my college roommate turned ghost, who'd texted out of the blue, "Elias, get your ass home. Ray needs you. Don't ask why." No explanation, no mercy, just that cryptic pull on the frayed thread of our friendship. The screen door creaked open before I could knock, and there he was, Raymond Harper, Jake's older brother, all broad shoulders and shadowed jawline, silhouetted against the warm glow spilling from the hallway. He was 6 years my senior, pushing 35, with the kind of rugged handsomeness that made you forget your own name. His dark hair was tousled, damp from the storm or maybe a recent shower, and his green eyes held that piercing intensity that had always unnerved me during family visits back in the day. "Elias," he said, his voice low and gravelly, like tires on wet asphalt. He stepped forward, pulling me into a hug that smelled of cedar and rain-soaked earth, his arms wrapping around me with a firmness that bordered on desperate. "You came. God, I didn't think you would." I pulled back, searching his face for clues. Ray had always been the golden boy of Willow Creek, the high school quarterback turned local contractor, the one who fixed roofs and mended fences while Jake and I dreamed of escaping to the city. But tonight, there was a crack in that facade, a tremor in his grip that spoke of nights without sleep. "Jake said you needed me," I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. "What's going on?" he sounded. "Wrecked." Ray's gaze dropped, his hand lingering on my shoulder a beat too long. "Inside. It's too damn wet out here." He led me through the mudroom, past stacks of unopened mail and a pair of Jake's old work boots caked in dirt. The house was a time capsule of Harper nostalgia. Faded photos of Ray hoisting trophies, Jake and me grinning like idiots at prom, their parents beaming from a kitchen table that hadn't changed since the 90s. But the air felt heavier now, laced with the faint tang of stale coffee and unspoken grief. We ended up in the living room, where a fire crackled half-heartedly in the stone hearth. Ray poured us whiskey from a bottle on the sideboard, top-shelf stuff, not the cheap rotgut their dad used to swig. "Jake's not here," he said finally, handing me the glass. His fingers brushed mine, sending an unwelcome spark up my arm. I'd always chalked it up to hero worship, the way Ray's presence made my pulse stutter back in my teens. But I was 28 now, out and proud in Chicago's bustling gay scene, and whatever this was, it had no business stirring the embers. "He's in the city," Ray continued, sinking into the worn leather armchair. "Working that tech gig you hooked him up with. But he called me last week, said you were the only one who'd get it. The family's falling apart. Elias. Mom's cancer came back, stage for this time, and Dad. He's drinking again. Holed up in the barn like it's 2008 all over. The words hit like a gut punch. I'd known about the initial diagnosis 2 years back. Sent flowers and checked in via Jake. But this? I set the glass down. Untouched. Jesus. Ray. Why didn't anyone say anything? I could've. You were busy living your life. There was no bitterness in his tone. Just a quiet resignation that twisted something deep in my chest. The big city won. With the fancy apartment and the guys who don't stick around. Jake filled me in. Said you were seeing someone new. Congrats. By the way, I laughed. A hollow sound that echoed off the wood-paneled walls. That lasted 3 weeks. Turns out, baristas with trust funds aren't my type. It was a deflection. But Ray's eyes softened, like he saw right through it. We sat in silence for a moment, the storm raging outside, until he leaned forward, elbows on knees, and fixed me with that look, the one that made the world narrow to just us. There's more, he said, voice dropping. Dad found out about me. About not us, he added quickly, a flush creeping up his neck. But the letters. The ones I wrote to Gregory back in college. He went through my stuff after Mom's last round of chemo, looking for pain meds or whatever. Found the box under my bed. Gregory. The name landed like a stone in still water. Ray's college sweetheart. The lit professor from Urbana who'd swept him off his feet during a semester abroad program. I'd met him once, at a Harper family barbecue, tall, bespectacled, with a laugh that lit up the yard like fireflies. They'd kept it hidden. Of course, Willow Creek wasn't exactly waving rainbow flags in 2009. But the ripples of that secret had touched us all. Jake confiding in me over late-night beers, Ray's unexplained absences, the way their parents' marriage frayed at the edges. And, I prompted, though my throat tightened. I could picture old man Harper, red-faced and bellowing, clutching those faded pages like evidence of treason. Ray rubbed his temples. He called me every name in the book. Faggot. Abomination. Said I'd shamed the family, that Mom's illness was God's judgment or some bullshit. Kicked me out of the house I grew up in, the one I'm paying the mortgage on because he's too proud to sell. His laugh was bitter, self-deprecating. I'm crashing in the guest room now, like a goddamn teenager. Jake's furious, won't talk to him. And Mom. She's pretending it's all fine, knitting scarves she'll never wear. I reached out, my hand covering his on the armrest. His skin was warm, calloused from years of swinging hammers, and for a split second, the room tilted. Ray, I'm so sorry. This isn't on you. It's their poison, not yours. He turned his hand over, lacing our fingers in a gesture so intimate it stole my breath. You get it, don't you? More than Jake, even. You've been out there, fighting for it. Me, I've been hiding since Greg left. Said the distance was too much, but really, it was the fear of this. He gestured vaguely at the house, the town beyond. Coming home to face it all, the fire popped, sending sparks dancing up the chimney. Outside, lightning cracked, illuminating the fields in stark white. I wanted to pull him close, to promise that Chicago had room for one more broken heart, but the words stuck. Instead, I squeezed his hand. Stay with me tonight. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Jake will be back soon. He texted me he's driving down. Ray nodded, But his eyes held mine a moment longer, heavy with unspoken questions. As he stood to stoke the fire, I felt the first stirrings of something dangerous, a pull toward the man I'd idolized from afar, now raw and real in the flickering light. Little did I know, the storm outside was nothing compared to the one brewing within these walls, one that would unearth betrayals I'd buried deep and force me to confront the kindness I'd forgotten how to accept. We talked late into the night, the whiskey loosening tongues and memories. Ray spoke of Gregory in hushed tones, painting pictures of stolen weekends in Champagne, lazy mornings tangled in sheets, debates over Faulkner that stretched till dawn. He saw me, Ray said, staring into the flames. Not the Harper heir, the fixer-upper. Just me. There was a wistfulness there, a longing that mirrored my own failed flings. I'd come out at 22, after a brutal breakup with my high school girlfriend exposed the lie I'd been living. Chicago welcomed me with open arms, pride parades, dive bars pulsing with bass, but the connections, fleeting, like summer storms. By midnight, exhaustion claimed us. Ray led me to the guest room upstairs, his quilt smelling of lavender and dust. Sleep, he murmured at the door, his hand on the frame. We'll face Dad in the morning, alone. I lay awake, the rain a relentless tattoo on the roof. Gregory's ghost hovered, not as a rival, but as a reminder of what Ray deserved: unfettered love, not this half-life of secrecy. And me, I was just the friend of a friend, the safe harbor in a tempest. Or so I told myself as sleep finally dragged me under. Morning broke gray and sodden, the fields steaming under a reluctant sun. I found Ray in the kitchen, flipping pancakes with mechanical precision, his broad back to me as I shuffled in. Coffee's hot, he called over his shoulder, voice brighter than it had any right to be. But the shadows under his eyes told another story. We ate in companionable silence, the clink of forks the only sound. Then Jake's truck rumbled up the drive, gravel crunching like bones. He burst through the door, drenched from a quick dash, his lanky frame filling the doorway. Elias, you beat me here. You bastard. He clapped me on the back, then froze, eyes flicking between Ray and me. What's the vibe? You two plotting world domination without me. Ray chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Just breakfast, little bro. Sit. Eat. Jake did, devouring 3 pancakes slathered in syrup, chattering about his Chicago commute and a disastrous date with a graphic designer who ghosted mid-text. It was his way, deflecting with humor, the family jester shielding the wounds. But when he glanced at Ray, worry creased his brow. Dad's in the barn. Sober. For once. Mom's upstairs, resting. I talked to her last night. She's asking for you, Elias. My fork paused midway to my mouth. Mrs. Harper, Ava to me, had always been the heart of this place, her hugs enveloping like warm bread, her stories of Ray's toddler tantrums making us all laugh till we cried. Seeing her frail now, I pushed the thought away. Of course. After we eat, the barn loomed at the edge of the property, a red behemoth stuffed with tractors and tools, its doors ajar like an invitation to confession. Ray and Jake hung back, letting me go first, a silent pact. Inside, the air was thick with hay and motor oil, shafts of light piercing the gloom. There he was, Harlan Harper, perched on a hay bale, nursing a thermos that probably held more than coffee. His face, weathered like old leather, softened at the sight of me. Elias, boy, he stood, engulfing me in a bear hug that smelled of pipe tobacco and regret. Heard you were comin'. Jake's got a good head on him. Pullin' you back here. We talked. Awkward at first. Skirting the elephant. He rambled about the harvest yields. The price of corn. Anything but the rift. But eventually, it spilled out. I said things I shouldn't. To Ray. About his ways. His voice cracked. Eyes glistening. Ava's dyin'. And I'm losing my boy over my own damn pride. The Bible says love thy neighbor. Harlan. I cut in gently, the words surprising even me. Not cast them out. Raise your son. Gregory was good for him, still is, in memory. Don't let fear steal that. He deflated, shoulders slumping. Gregory. That professor fella. Thought it was a phase. Then the letters. Poetic, like something from a movie. Broke my heart more than angered me. We sat there, two strangers bound by love for the Harpers, as the morning light shifted. When I left, Harlan followed, clapping Ray on the back with a gruff. We'll talk later, son. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet, but it was a crack in the door. The day blurred into caregiving, fetching meds for Ava. Her frail hand in mine as she whispered thanks, eyes twinkling with that old fire. Ray hovered, his presence a steady anchor, and by afternoon, as we raked leaves in the yard, our shoulders brushed more than once. Jake shot me a knowing grin from the porch, mouthing be careful. But careful was the last thing on my mind when Ray paused, rake in hand, and said, You staying the week? City can wait. I nodded, heart thudding. Yeah, it can. That evening, the four of us gathered around the dining table for the first real meal in weeks. Roast chicken from Ava's recipe, mashed potatoes whipped by Jake, and Ray's green beans steamed just right. The clatter of plates masked the undercurrents, but I felt them. Harlan's sidelong glances at Ray, Ava's quiet pride as she watched her boys banter. It was a fragile normalcy, the kind you nurture like a fledgling bird, afraid one wrong breath will send it tumbling. After dinner, Jake dragged me out to the old treehouse in the backyard, a rickety perch we'd claimed as kids for smoking stolen cigarettes and plotting escapes. The ladder groaned under our weight, but up we went, beers in hand, the town lights twinkling below like distant stars. Spill, Jake demanded, cracking his open. What's with you and Ray? I saw that hand-holding shit last night. I choked on my sip, the foam burning my throat. It wasn't, we were just talking. About your dad. Greg. All that. Bullshit. He leaned back against the plywood wall, his face half-shadowed. I've known Ray was gay since we were teens. Caught him with a magazine once, don't ask. And you? You've had stars in your eyes for him since freshman year. Remember that party at our house? You stared like he hung the moon. Heat flooded my cheeks, but I didn't deny it. Jake had been my rock through coming out, the straight ally who punched a frat boy for slinging slurs. It's complicated. He's hurting. You're all hurting. I'm not here to complicate more. Jake snorted. Life's complicated, Elias. That's why you fit right in. He paused, swigging his beer. But seriously, go easy. Ray's tough, but Gregory gutted him. Left for a tenure track in Boston. Said the long distance was killing the spark. Ray never recovered. Built walls higher than this damn treehouse. I nodded, the confession settling heavy. Gregory's departure had been the talk of whispered phone calls between Jake and me, Ray retreating into work and one-night stands in Peoria bars he'd never admit to. "I won't push," I promised. But as we climbed down, Jake's words echoed, stirring the what-ifs I'd long suppressed. Night fell soft, the storm a memory, crickets chorusing in the grass. I wandered the halls, insomnia my old friend, and found Ray on the porch swing, a blanket draped over his knees, staring at the fireflies. "Can't sleep?" I asked, settling beside him. The chains creaked under our combined weight, a rhythmic lullaby. "Too much noise in my head," he offered half the blanket, our thighs pressing together in the chill. "You? Same. City habits die hard, no white noise machine out here." We swung in silence, the air thick with unsaid things. Then, softly, "Tell me about him." "Gregory." "Not the highlights, the real stuff." Ray hesitated, then exhaled. "He was electric. Read poetry like it was scripture, made me see the world in sonnets. We drive to Starved Rock, hike till we were lost, then find our way back by the stars." But he wanted more: protests, pride marches. I was scared. Small town, family expectations. One night, after a fight, he packed a bag. Said I had to choose, him or the closet. The pain in his voice was visceral. A wound reopened. I shifted closer, our shoulders touching. "You chose wrong." "No. I chose survival." He turned, eyes searching mine in the moonlight. "But seeing you out, unapologetic, it makes me wonder what if I'd chosen different." My breath caught. The swing slowed, the world narrowing to the warmth of him beside me. "Ray." He leaned in, tentative, lips brushing my temple. "Sorry. Too much whiskey." But he didn't pull away, and neither did I. That featherlight touch ignited something dormant, a spark that promised to consume us both. We stayed like that till dawn crept in, hands entwined under the blanket, the first threads of possibility weaving between us. The week unfolded in a haze of routine and revelation. Mornings with Ava, reading her dog-eared paperbacks aloud, Steinbeck mostly, her favorites, while Ray tinkered in the garage, emerging grease-streaked and grinning. Afternoons brought Harlan into the fold tentatively. He'd join us for coffee on the porch, grunts evolving into stories of his Vietnam days, the regrets tucked between. Jake played referee, his humor the glue holding the fractures. One crisp Tuesday, Ray and I drove into town for supplies, feed for the horses, chemo meds from the pharmacy. Willow Creek was quintessential heartland, a single main street lined with the diner, hardware store, and the bar where everyone knew your sins. As we loaded bags into the truck, a voice called out, "Ray Harper, been too long." Stranger. We turned to see him, Gregory Ellis, stepping from the library steps, a stack of books under one arm. Time hadn't dimmed his allure. Still tall, wire-rimmed glasses perched on a sharp nose, salt and pepper threading his temples. He looked every inch the professor, now tenured at the local community college, back in Illinois after Boston proved too cold. "Greg," Ray breathed, the name a ghost made flesh. His face paled, then flushed, a storm of emotions chasing across. Gregory's smile faltered, eyes flicking to me. "And you must be Elias." "Friend of the family." I extended a hand, pulse racing. Close. He was magnetic, his grip firm, assessing. Charmed. Ray, we should catch up. Coffee? My office hours are free tomorrow. Ray nodded mutely, and as Gregory walked away, waving over his shoulder, the air between us crackled with tension. In the truck, silence reigned till we hit the county line. Didn't know he was back, Ray muttered, knuckles white on the wheel. Jake mentioned something about it last night. Said he saw him at the grocery. A lie I hadn't known, but it softened the blow. Or so I hoped. That night, over poker in the living room, Harlan's idea. A truce ritual. Ray was distracted, folding good hands, laughing too loud at Jake's bluffs. When he excused himself early, claiming a headache, I followed minutes later, finding him in the kitchen, staring at an old photo taped to the fridge. Him and Gregory at a county fair, arms slung casual, grins wide. You okay? I asked, sliding onto a stool. He turned, vulnerability raw. Seeing him, it rips open old scars. But it's not just pain. There's relief, too. Like maybe I can finally say goodbye properly. I stood, closing the distance. You don't have to do it alone. My hand found his cheek, thumb tracing the stubble. He leaned into it, eyes closing, and when they opened, the hunger there mirrored my own. Our kiss was inevitable, born of weeks of buildup, a slow burn igniting in the dim kitchen light. His lips were soft, tasting of mint and regret, hands framing my face as if I might vanish. Deepened, bodies pressing close, but we broke apart gasping, foreheads touching. Elias, he whispered. This us, it's real? Real as it gets, I replied, heart hammering. We retreated to his room, doors locked against the house's ears, but it was chaste, kisses trailing to shoulders, whispers in the dark, a reclaiming of self through touch. No rush, no desperation, just the quiet affirmation of two men finding solace in each other. Dawn brought coffee and caution. Coffee with Greg today, Ray said, buttering toast. Closure. Then, us, I nodded, masking the knot in my gut. Us. He left after breakfast, truck kicking up dust. Jake cornered me in the barn. You two finally crossed the line? Good. He needs it, but his eyes held worry. Just watch out for Greg. Guy's got a way of stirring pots. The day dragged. Ava napped. Harlan tilled the garden, and I paced, phone silent. Bifur. Ray returned, face ashen, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the windows. Bastard, he growled, pacing the foyer. Told me he came back for a job, but it's more. He's writing a book, memoir, he calls it. About us. The hidden love in the heartland. Wants my blessing, my story, to give voice to the voiceless. I stepped forward, hands on his arms. And you said, hell no. It's betrayal, Elias. Those letters, private. Our pain, fodder for his 10-year glow-up. Tears welled, spilling over. He looked at me like I was a chapter, not a man. We collapsed onto the couch, him curled against me, sobs muffled in my shirt. I held him, murmuring nonsense, it's okay. You're enough, as the house held its breath. That night, Harlan knocked on Ray's door, Bible in hand. Not for judgment but amends. Read this with me, son. Psalms. About love enduring all. It was a start, father to son, walls crumbling. But as Ray slept beside me, arm draped heavy, I stared at the ceiling, Gregory's shadow looming larger. Closure, or the first crack in our fragile new beginning? The next morning dawned brittle, frost glazing the windows like sugar on a cracked pane. Ray was up before me, brewing coffee with a vengeance, his movements sharp. "I'm fine," he insisted when I touched his elbow, but the tightness in his jaw said otherwise. Gregory's visit had unearthed more than memories. It had stirred the sediment of doubt, making Ray question every step forward. We drove to the hospital in Decatur for Ava's treatment, the radio humming low with classic rock, Springsteen crooning about born-to-run dreams that felt worlds away. Ray's hand found mine on the console, a silent anchor. "Thanks for last night," he murmured. "For holding the pieces. Always." But inside, the waiting room's fluorescent hum amplified my unease. Ava emerged from chemo pale but smiling, squeezing Ray's hand. "My boys," she whispered, including me in the fold. On the way home, she shared stories, Ray's first crush on the neighbor boy, hidden in baseball gloves, Gregory's visit at Christmas, charming the socks off everyone. "He was good for you," she said softly. "But life's seasons change. This one," her eyes twinkled at me, "feels like spring." Her words lingered, a bomb. But back home, tension simmered. Jake pulled Ray aside for a brotherly chew-out. "Don't let that prick rewrite your narrative," while Harlan buried himself in the newspaper, feigning ignorance. I escaped to the attic, sorting old boxes for Ava's comfort. Photo albums yellowed with time, Jake's Letterman jacket, a shoebox of Ray's mementos. That's when I found it, tucked behind insulation, a leather journal, spine cracked from use. Ray's handwriting, looping and deliberate. I shouldn't have opened it, but curiosity or jealousy. 1. Pages chronicled his college years. The thrill of Gregory's first kiss under oak trees, the ache of secrecy, doubts about coming out. Then, midway, Elias came for dinner. Watched him laugh with Jake. Felt something shift. Not lust, deeper. Like home. Entries from years ago, but recent ones too. Greg's back. Stirring ghosts. But Elias. He's here now. Real. Terrifying. My hands trembled, closing the book. He'd seen me, long before this week, before the kisses. It was a gift and a weight, this unspoken history. I replaced it, descending to find Ray chopping wood in the yard, axe biting deep. "Hey," I called, approaching cautious. "Found your journal." "Sorry, I was nosy." He paused, sweat beading on his brow, then lowered the axe. And it explained a lot. I stepped closer, the scent of pine and earth enveloping. "Why you looked at me like that, even back then." Ray set the axe aside, wiping his hands on jeans. "I was scared then. Of wanting what I couldn't have, you, free and fierce. Now," he cupped my face, thumb tracing my lip. "Now, I want to try." We kissed there, under the autumn sun, fierce and affirming, the axe forgotten. But as we broke apart, Jake's truck pulled up, honking obnoxiously. "Interrupting something?" he yelled, grinning. Inside, lunch devolved into plans. A family drive to the river, Harlan's olive branch. The Spoon River wound lazy through bluffs, leaves carpeting the banks in crimson and gold. We picnicked, sandwiches, thermoses of soup, laughter echoing off the water. Harlan even shared a rare joke about fishing with his dad, and Ray joined in, the ice thawing. But my phone buzzed mid-story. Unknown number. Elias, Gregory. Heard you're with Ray. Meet, coffee in town. Perspective you deserve. I deleted it, but the seed planted doubt. Insidious. Who was I to this family? The outsider, stirring hearts they'd guarded for years. That evening, Gregory cornered us at the diner. Ray and I had slipped away for pie, a stolen date, when he appeared at our booth, tray in hand. Mind if I join? Purely friendly. Ray stiffened, but nodded curtly. 5 minutes. Gregory slid in opposite, ever the charmer. Elias, Ray's told me about you. Chicago boy, tech whiz. Impressive. His eyes were sharp, probing. Ray and I, we had something raw. He was my muse. You know, those letters, gold for my book. But he's changed stronger. Because of you. It was a hook, baited sweet. Ray's fork clattered. Drop it, Greg. The book's your thing. Leave us out. Us. Gregory arched a brow, glancing between us. Already? Bold. But Heartland love, it's fleeting. You remember the pressure, right? Family, town. I left to save us both. You left to save yourself. Ray shot back. Voice steel. Tenure over truth. The diner hushed. Locals averting eyes. Gregory stood, composed. Think about it. My editor's interested. Anonymous quotes. If you're shy. He nodded at me. Elias. Call if you want the full story. Then he was gone. Bell jingling like a taunt. Ray shoved his plate away. Let's go. Outside. In the truck. Fury simmered to silence. He thinks he can waltz back. Rewrite us like fiction, Ray muttered. I won't let him, but doubt festered. That night, alone in the guest room, Ray with Ava for a late chat, I Googled Gregory's name. A rabbit hole of academia. Articles on queer lit. A TEDx talk on hidden narratives. His book proposal leaked online. Shadows of the Prairie. A love suppressed. Excerpts quoted Ray's letters verbatim. Blurred names but unmistakable voice. Rage boiled. I drove to town at midnight, pounding on Gregory's apartment door above the bookstore. He answered in pajamas, blinking surprise. Elias. Knew you'd come. You're exploiting him, I accused, shoving the printout. Those words, private pain, for your career? He ushered me in, calm as a professor grading papers. Art from life. Ray knew the risks when he wrote them. And you, jealous? Or protecting? Both. The room was book-lined. Cozy betrayal. He deserves peace. Not your spotlight. Gregory poured tea. Unperturbed. He loved the drama once. The secrecy fueled us. Maybe it still does. His gaze softened. You're good for him, grounded. But ask, can you handle the fallout? Willow Creek chews up outsiders. I left fuming, the drive home a blur. Dawn found me on the porch, Ray joining with mugs. Where were you? He asked, concern etching lines. Confronting your ghost. I handed him the printout. His face darkened as he read, crumpling it. That's it. I'm done hiding. He pulled me up, voice resolute. Tomorrow, we tell the town. Bake sale at church, I'll speak. No more shadows. Heart swelling. I kissed him, fierce. I'm with you. But as the sun rose, Harlan called from the barn. Ray, Ava's not breathing right. Ambulance. Chaos erupted, sirens wailing. Ava rushed to the ER. Her body finally surrendering after months of fight. We piled into cars. Jake white-knuckled, Harlan praying aloud. In the hospital hall, waiting for news, Ray clung to me, whispering, "Don't leave. Please. Never," I vowed. But the doctor emerged, face grave, stable, but hours, maybe days. We gathered in her room, a vigil of hands held, stories shared. Eva, lucid in morphine haze, beckoned Ray close. "Love him," she murmured, glancing at me. "Like I loved your father, flaws and all." To Harlan, "Forgive. Before it's too late." He nodded, tears streaming, pulling Ray into an embrace. "Proud of you, son." Always was. In that sterile room, amid beeps and whispers, forgiveness bloomed, father to son, mother to all. But Gregory's shadow lingered, a storm on the horizon, threatening the fragile peace we'd clawed from grief. Ava held on through the night, her breaths shallow but steady, a fighter to the end. We rotated shifts, Jake dozing in vinyl chairs, Harlan pacing with rosary beads, Ray and I trading quiet talks in the cafeteria, hands linked under the table. Dawn brought false hope, her eyes fluttered open, voice a rasp. The river. One last time. We made it happen. Against doctor's orders, a wheelchair procession to the hospital garden, mimicking the bluffs with potted maples and a fountain's trickle. She smiled, wind tousling her silver hair, as Ray read from her favorite, The Grapes of Wrath, The Resilience of Kin. "That's us," she said, squeezing my hand. "Wanderers, but together." By noon, she slipped away, peaceful, surrounded by her men. The room emptied slowly, nurses with condolences, Harlan collapsing into sobs that shook his frame. Jake organized the details, funeral home, pastor, his efficiency a shield. Ray, he shattered, retreating to the truck, fists pounding the dash till knuckles bled. I drove us home, the miles blurring. At the farmhouse, he bolted inside, slamming the attic door. I gave him space, brewing tea with Harlan, who finally broke. She was my anchor. And I pushed Ray away, thinking it protected him. "Fool. You're not a fool," I said. "Just human. Fix it now for her." He nodded, eyes red. "Will you help?" "With the service. Anything." Evening fell heavy, grief a tangible weight. Jake found me in the kitchen, cracking beers. "Ray's a mess." "Go to him." Upstairs. The attic door yielded. Ray amid boxes, journal open, tears staining pages. "It's gone," he choked. She saw us, me and you, and approved. "Now what?" I knelt, pulling him close. "Now we honor her." Live bold. Our embrace turned desperate, bodies seeking solace. But it remained tender, kisses like lifelines, whispered I love yous in the dust motes. For the first time, he said it first, "Elias, I love you." Have for years. The words mended cracks I didn't know were there. We descended, joining the others for a makeshift wake. Photos spread, Stories flowing till laughter pierced the sorrow. Funeral was Sunday. Willow Creek United Methodist packed with neighbors, casseroles piling high. Harlan spoke first. Voice steady. Ava taught love without limits. I failed that, hiding from my boy's truth. No more. He looked to Ray. Proud. Son. Ray rose. Hand in mine, public. Unashamed. Mom knew my heart. Gregory was first love. Elias. The enduring. Murmurs rippled, but nods followed. The town's quiet acceptance a balm. No book could capture this raw, real grace. After, at the graveside, Gregory approached, suit crisp, face contrite. Ray. Elias. I'm sorry. Pulled the proposal. Your story's yours. Ray eyed him cool. Good. Write your own truths. He left, tail between legs, and we turned to the reception. Barn transformed with lanterns and fiddles. Jake danced with a cousin. Harlan shared toasts. Ray pulled me aside. Under the stars. Marry me? Not now, someday. Build this with me. Joy surged, but caution tempered. Yes, but slow. Heal first. Weeks blurred. Estate papers. Ray taking over the farm with Harlan's reluctant help. I extended my leave. Chicago a distant hum. Our love deepened in stolen moments. Dawn walks. Porch swings. But Gregory's ghost persisted. Letters arrived. Apologies. Then pleas for interviews. Disguised as reconciliation. One night, after a harvest dance where Ray two-stepped me dizzy, we argued. Block him, I urged, phone in hand. He's harmless now, but doubt flickered old patterns. Then betrayal struck. Jake called from Chicago. Elias, check your email. Greg's blog, leaked excerpts. Your name's in it. As the rebound, heart sinking, I read, Ray's new flame, city slicker Elias, mends the heart I broke. But can Heartland roots hold a rainbow flag? Quotes twisted, my journal findings spun as prying, our intimacy mocked. Fury blinded. I confronted Ray at dawn, printout thrust. He used me, us, for clicks. And you? Defended him. Ray paled. I didn't know. Elias, please. You chose ghosts over us. I stormed out, driving aimless, tears blurring roads. Betrayal stung deepest, not Gregory's pen, but Ray's lingering tie, the half-truths. Pulled over at a diner. Phone rang, Harlan. Come home. Boy. Talk. The farmhouse glowed. Ray waiting on the porch. Eyes haunted. I blocked him. Told him never again. It was weakness, fear of losing the past. But you're my future. We talked till stars wheeled. Raw confessions. My insecurities bared. I feared this, I admitted. Being the interlude, not the story. You're the whole damn book. He knelt, ringless but earnest. Forgive, I did, pulling him up, kiss ceiling. But healing demanded more therapy in town. Couple sessions where we unpacked closets and heartbreaks. Winter crept in, snow blanketing fields. Christmas brought Jake home. Harlan carving turkey with a smile. Gifts exchanged. Ray's handmade box for my trinkets. My photo of us at the river for his nightstand. Gregory faded. His blog dormant. Yet climax brewed. Spring thaw revealed Harlan's secret. Letters of his own. To a wartime buddy. Love unspoken. lost to time. Like father, like son, he confessed over bourbon. Don't repeat my mistakes, Ray wept, embracing him. We won't. Our love solidified, proposals whispered in meadows, plans for a commitment ceremony by summer. But fate tested. My Chicago job demanded return, promotion tethering me. I can't leave you, I agonized, suitcases half-packed. Then don't, Ray's eyes pleaded. Build here with me. Torn. I weighed. City's pulse or Heartland heart. The choice loomed. Precipice. The ultimatum hung like storm clouds over Willow Creek. The promotion a glittering lure from my Chicago firm senior developer. Corner office. The validation I'd chased since college. But Ray's world was here. The farm greening with corn shoots. Harlan's tentative steps toward openness. Jake's visits laced with brotherly ribbing. Leaving felt like amputation. Staying, surrender. We argued in the kitchen, voices low to spare Ava's ghost. It's not surrender, Ray insisted, hands gesturing wide. It's choice. For us. And if it withers, like your dreams deferred, countered, the journal's echoes fueling fire. Gregory chased his, left you behind, his face shuddered. Don't compare. He ran from fear. I'm asking you to stay for love. The words landed heavy, truth in the accusation. I retreated to the barn, Harlan finding me amid hay bales, his pipe smoke curling like questions. Big City called me once, he rumbled. Missed my boy's first steps. Regrets a cold bedfellow. Wisdom from the man who hid his heart? Slipped bitter, but he nodded. Fair. But learn from it, grab joy while it's warm. Nights blurred into indecision. Ray's touches tentative, my sleep fractured. Jake arrived unannounced, duffel slung, forcing a powwow by the fire. Chicago's got Dixon dollars, he blunt. Here, family. Love that sticks. Easy for you, I snapped. Straight, settled. He leaned in, eyes fierce. Wrong. I watch Ray light up around you, like mom with dad, pre-booze. Don't blow it for a skyline view. Their chorus swayed me, but doubt gnawed. Then Gregory resurfaced, not in pixels, but flesh, at the farm co-op, schmoozing for research on rural queer resilience. Ray spotted him first, jaw clenching as we unloaded feed sacks. I'll handle, he growled, striding over. I followed, buffer and witness. Ray. Elias. Gregory smiled, clipboard poised. Fancy meeting. Leave, Ray cut. No stories here, but this is gold reconciliation. Post-betrayal bloom. With Ava's passing, the humanity, his pen hovered, eager. Rage ignited. Humanity? You're a vulture, I spat. Twisting pain for pages. Gregory's facade cracked, defensiveness flashing. I loved him. This book's tribute. Lies. Ray stepped forward, chest to chest. You left. Exploited. Now crawl back for scraps? We're done. Townsfolk paused, murmurs rising. Gregory flushed, backing away. You'll regret stonewalling. Authenticity sells. Authenticity's us without you. Ray turned, hand finding mine, squeezing. As he drove off, the co-op erupted in support. Slaps on back. Good riddance. Professor. That night, catharsis flowed. Ray burned the journal, not all, but Gregory's pages in the fire pit. ashes swirling like released sins. "Clean slate," he said, pulling me close. "Stay." The question, post-purge, tipped scales. "Yes," I whispered. "For us." Resignation emailed at dawn. Chicago fading to echo. The firm countered remote option. Heartland hybrid, but I chose full roots. Trading code for community solar projects. Consulting from the farmhouse. Summer swelled. Fields golden. Harlan joined PFLAG meetings in Peoria. His presence a quiet revolution. Jake dated a barista. Irony noted, weekends filled with barbecues. Ray and I renovated the guest room into ours. Wide bed. Bookshelves for mingled libraries. A pride flag discreet on the porch. But conflict simmered subtle. Town's whispers about the boys. Harlan's old buddies side-eyeing. One night, at the VFW hall for bingo, Harlan's vice. A drunk uncle slurred. Harper's always had soft spots. "That prof turn your boy." Ray tensed beside me, but Harlan rose. Voice thunder. "My son's man enough for two of you." "Speak again." "You're out." Silence. Then applause slow. Building. The uncle slunk away, and Ray gripped my knee under the table. Gratitude shining. Climax crested Labor Day, town fair. Cotton candy air. Ferris wheel lights. Ray had planned it booth for farm goods. But surprise. A cleared stage. Mic ready. "With Elias here," he announced to the crowd, "I share our story. Not for pity, for pride." He spoke of Gregory's spark, the closet's crush, Ava's grace, my arrival as salvation. Love isn't plot, it's persistence. In Willow Creek, it grows wild. Cheers erupted. Strangers clapping my back. A rainbow pin pressed into my palm by the mayor's wife. Gregory watched from afar. Notebook abandoned. Face ashen, witness to a narrative he couldn't claim. But betrayal's echo lingered. Post-speech. My phone buzzed. Anonymous text. Photo of Ray and Gregory. Recent, coffee shop. Heads close. Still strings attached. Ice-flooded veins. I confronted Ray at home. Image thrust. "Who's pulling?" His confusion morphed to horror. "Elias, no." Jake set it up. Mediation. For closure. Nothing happened. Closure or convenience? Paranoia poisoned. Old fears roaring. "I left everything for this, trust me." He reached. Desperate. "I chose you." "Call Jake." Verification came. Jake's frantic call. Greg ambushed, twisted it. Ray shut him down flat. Relief warred with weariness. "No more ghosts," I demanded. Sworn. Ray knelt. Vulnerability bare. "Marry me." Ceremony next month. "Bind us." Tears blurred. Yes. Healing followed. Boundaries set. Therapy deepened. Harlan officiated a small wedding. Barn altar. Jake best man. Fields as cathedral. Vows exchanged. In storms and sun. "I choose you." Honeymoon. A cabin in the Ozarks. Days of fishing. Nights of stories. Back home. Life rooted. My solar startup thrived. Ray's farm sustainable. Harlan sober. Mentoring local youth. Yet humanism tempered joy. Gregory's book published. Fictionalized. Names changed, but sales tanked. Reviews calling it voyeuristic. He moved to California, chasing Hollywood scripts. Last we heard. Humbled, teaching high school. One autumn eve. Porch swing creaking. Ray's head on my shoulder. Feared the truth once, my heart's shape. You showed me kindness rebuilds. I kissed his temple. We did. Together, years folded like well-worn pages. Willow Creek evolving with us. The farmhouse gleamed, new roof courtesy my grants. Solar panels glinting like promises kept. Harlan, graying but spry, courted a widow from church. Their bingo dates a quiet romance. Jake married his barista in a backyard bash. Their twins toddling now, calling Ray Uncle Ray Ray with gleeful mispronunciation. Ray and I, anchored, our love a steady river carving canyons of comfort. Mornings started with coffee on the porch, his hand in mine, watching deer graze. Nights ended tangled, whispers tracing tattoos of memory, his on my collarbone, a sparrow for freedom, mine on his wrist, an oak for endurance. But life's humanism demanded shadows amid light. 5 years in, Harlan's heart faltered. Attack in the field. Scythe dropped. We rushed him to the ER. Ray's face a mask of terror echoing Ava's vigil. Not yet, he pleaded at the bedside, Harlan's hand frail in his. The old man rallied, stubborn as sod. Post-surgery, he confessed over hospital jello. Wrote to my buddy, finally. Mailed it. No reply, but peace. Ray wept, forgiving fully, their bond ironclad. My own trial came subtle, fertility whispers. Ray broached adoption, I's hopeful. Build our legacy. We navigated agencies, home studies prying into our alternative life. Rejection stung, prefer traditional, but persistence won. Little Theo, 3, with curls like Ray's and a laugh like mine, placed in our chaos. Fatherhood reshaped us. Sleepless nights tag-teamed. Theo's first steps on the porch. His questions, why 2 daddies? Answered with stories of Ava's boundless love. The town embraced. Playdates at the park. Theo's preschool art show featuring my family farm in crayon glory. Conflict revisited in whispers. A new pastor, firebrand from the city, preaching traditional values at the fair. Booths boycotted ours. Slurs scrawled on fences. Ray fumed. Not again, but kindness countered. Mayor rallied allies. PFLAG picnic. Harlan's VFW speech. These boys saved me. Judge not. The pastor softened. Invited to dinner. Over pie. Theo's hug melted ice. Loves the sermon, Ray quipped later. Gregory's coda arrived unbidden. A package, forwarded from Boston. Manuscript, revised, dedicated, to Ray and Elias, truth in your living, not my words. We read snippets, chuckling at caricatures, then burned the rest. His redemption, I said. Ours complete. Climax crested Theo's 5th birthday. Backyard bash. Piñata swinging. Laughter echoing. As dusk fell, Ray pulled me aside. Ring glinting, vows renewed. Under the oak we planted post-wedding. Feared losing you once, he murmured. Now, grateful every dawn. Tears pricked. The truth freed us. Kindness, the world's, ours, put us back. Harlan toasted. To Harper's and honorary. Stronger together. Jake. Beer raised. To brothers. Blood and chosen. Theo. Cake smeared. To daddies. Stars wheeled. Fireflies danced. The farm a beacon. Betrayals faded to footnotes. Conflicts to character. In America's heartland, Two men wove a tapestry of resilience, dramatic in storms weathered, emotional in depths plumbed, romantic in glances held, humanistic in hands extended. We swung on the porch that night, Theo asleep inside, Harlan snoring, Jake departed. Ray's head on my shoulder, world at peace. What now? I asked, half dreaming. Now, we live, he replied. Boldly, and so we did, roots deep, branches wide, love the unyielding soil.